What's going on, everybody? Marvel Across 316 back with another comic book flashback. Today, folks, we are looking at Avengers issue number 12. This issue came out in January of 1965. And today, folks, we see the Avengers going up against the Mole Man here. Now, the Mole Man is not going to be the only villain that they go up against today, but I'm not going to reveal that yet. So, Mole Man will be teaming up with someone today. And so we'll see exactly who Mole Man teams up with. So today's title is This Hostage Earth. And it's brought to you by the great Stan Lee, who wrote this issue. We have Don Heck on the artwork, along with Dick Ayers, and then Sam Rosen on the lettering page. And so let's go ahead now and get started with today's issue. We see that there is a cybernetic alarm going off. We see that Giant Man's ants have alerted both Giant Man and the Wasp that there is some serious problem going on, and it has to be going on underneath the earth. And so what we're going to see in this beginning issue here is that we see Wasp. She's not going to take him serious, as we see here, as well as some of the other Avengers, because they're all going to be alerted here, and they're like, okay, this must be something serious. So we see that Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America are going to obey the summons here. But when they get there, Giant Man says, I'll come right to the point. I received a cybernetic alarm from a frightened group of ants. And Iron Man's like, boy, everybody's a comedian. Now tell us the real problem. And Giant Man says, I am telling you. And Thor says, you have the temerity to summon us because some ants in an anthill are in need of assistance. I know not whether to feel wrath or amusement. And Captain America says, easy, Thor. Giant Man's got a temper too, and I wouldn't want to see it directed against us. So Giant Man's like, please, guys, just listen to me. Remember a few months back when the Fantastic Four fought Mole Man? And that was in issue number 22. And then we see that Thor's like, well, Mole Man was destroyed by the Fantastic Four in issue number 31, as we see here. So they're not even a big threat. But Giant Man is the only one that really thinks that there's a serious problem going on. Thor has had enough, and he flies off. And Giant Man's like, and the rest of you could follow him. I wouldn't take any help now on a bet. Go on, cut out. But we see that Captain America and Iron Man and at least the Wasp are going to stick around to help Giant Man. So we see here that Giant Man's suspicions are true. The Mole Man is active here, and he's building this machine, and this machine is going to play a big role in this issue because it's going to alter the axis of the Earth, causing a lot of problems on the Earth here. That's what the Mole Man's plan is here. We don't really know how the Mole Man survived the onslaught that he had with the Fantastic Four, but what we do know is that the Mole Man is active here, and his big plan here is to alter and shift the Earth's axis so that then once the surface world surrenders to him, then he can be in charge. Now we see that the Wasp here is cutting out. So not only Thor, but now the Wasp is cutting out because she says she has a hairdresser's appointment in 15 minutes and she doesn't have time. And so we see that Ant-Man has had enough. He's like, go ahead then. Forget it, lady. We don't want to keep your hairdresser waiting. I'll see you around. So Ant-Man is going to be the first one to go and see what all the fuss is about going on underneath the ground. And soon enough, he sees that there's a cave-in. He falls. He then is going to shift his body to become Giant Man. And this is where he's going to come up against Mole Man and his subterranean slaves here. And so we see that Giant Man tries to put up a good fight, but what we're going to see is Giant Man is going to be taken down, taken into custody from Mole Man here. This is where we see all of the effects from that machine that Mole Man has been building here, as everything around the world is shaking. People are told to get off this bridge here because it's shaking in New York City. And so the Avengers meet up at the HQ and they're like, man, we should have really listened to Giant Man, because now Giant Man has probably been taken hostage by the Mole Man, and we got to do something. And so what we're going to see is that they're going to use that image projector that they used in issue number 3 to track down the Hulk. And we're going to see that the Wasp is going to use it. And when she uses it, she finds out that it's true. The Mole Man is active and that Giant Man has been taken hostage here. And we see that Mole Man now knows that the Avengers are trying to track him down, so he's going to send some of his subterranean slaves here, and they're going to go attack the Avengers at their own HQ here. So that's what we're going to see next. We see that Captain America gives Iron Man the advice to go get that transistorized foxhole diggers that the army just ordered from Tony Stark. So that's what they're going to use to go down to the surface to meet the Mole Man. But while they're talking, we see that Mole Man's subterranean slaves are going to attack here, and the Avengers have a big fight on their hands, as we soon see, as all the Avengers are trying their best to defeat these guys. We see that the Wasp is just about to choke on some gas when Iron Man comes to the rescue here. But what we see as we continue to look through this issue is that the Avengers are going to be able to overcome the power of these subterranean slaves here. And this is where things get very interesting. They vanish here, so someone has rescued them. We don't know exactly who yet. We're going to soon see that Captain America and Rick Jones are going to go to Tony Stark's facility to get what they need, when all of a sudden they see some of his equipment being stolen. And so we see that Captain America has to take down these guys here. He gets punched smack dab right by the monk here. But we see that Captain America still has a lot of fight in him. I mean, he is a super soldier, to be honest. And so he comes and saves Rick Jones. Rick Jones is like, so I guess I can't be an Avenger now, huh? But Captain America says, don't worry about that setback. I still have a lot of time to train you. So we see here that finally Captain America and Rick Jones return with what is needed. And this is what they're going to use to finally get down to the surface of where the Mole Man is at. So while, like I said, Mole Man is not alone. He's going to team up with someone, and that someone is going to be the Red Ghost. Now, the Red Ghost appeared in Fantastic Four issue number 13. That's where he made his first appearance. So we have actually 2 Fantastic Four villains in this issue, and the Avengers are fighting Fantastic Four villains. So that's pretty unique here in this issue. We see that the Avengers are going to go down to the surface, and this is where they're going to be met by the Red Ghost. Now, the Avengers have never met the Red Ghost, and so this is their first time coming across the Red Ghost. And we see that the Avengers now have 2 supervillains that they're going to be dealing with. We see that the Wasp is going to rescue and get Giant Man out from captivity here. So now Giant Man is released from his prison here. Now we see that the Mole Man and the Red Ghost have a lot of trouble here, as the Avengers now are overcoming the odds here from all attacks above. So the only thing that the Mole Man has left to do is to get to that machine, and he says, "Your mighty efforts have been in vain. If I push this switch, I can destroy all life on the surface of the earth by increasing its axis speed. It is this machine which has caused the upheavals which aroused your notice above, and it is this machine which gives me mastery over all of you." And he says, "I plan to destroy all of you except for one, and that one person is going to be a plea for the human race." But we see that Giant Man is going to play into the defeat of both Mole Man and the Red Ghost, as he transforms his body into the Ant-Man, and he just tears apart the entire machine within, causing the machine to shut down, and Mole Man has no idea what happened. So Mole Man and the Red Ghost make a run for it, and we see that Thor is able to destroy that machine while Iron Man is going to shut off all escape tunnels so that his subterranean slaves cannot get free, or Mole Man and the Red Ghost. And we see that the Avengers safely return back to their headquarters while the Mole Man and the Red Ghost are trapped below. And so that is how we end this issue, folks. I hope you liked it. It's pretty unique that the Avengers went up against two Fantastic Four villains here. And so next issue, folks, we'll be looking at issue number 13. I hope to see you there. But before then, go ahead now and give this issue a like. Go ahead and subscribe to this channel if you have not. I'd love to have you here to get to see more classic issues here. And until next time, keep reading comics.